Welcome to the Outstanding Global Women Award 2021. My name is Yvette Ashiri, JCI Canada National President. JCI is a worldwide organization of young, active citizens. Together, we take action, we communicate, and we live to create impact in our communities. Today, I have the greatest honor to be with Stephanie Woollard, OAM, all the way from Melbourne, Australia. Stephanie, welcome.
Thanks, Yvette. Awesome to be here.
It is so amazing. Thank you for taking this time, Stephanie. Stephanie, first of all, I would like to ask you, what was your reaction when you heard that you were nominated?
It's an amazing award to have, and I was very humbled to know that I'd been nominated by a few people that I met in Estonia, actually, a few years ago through JCI. And I think it's an incredible feeling to have someone else believe in you and see what you're doing is worthy of being awarded. So I'm very grateful.
Wonderful, Stephanie, and you deserve it. I've been reading about you, and it's just, you are amazing. You are just amazing. So, congratulations again. You have such a journey in this organization. You are a TOYP honoree as well. Can you tell us about that day and how did everything happen?
Oh my God, that was absolutely incredible. So the OAM that you can see after my name is actually the Order of Australia. So that was an award that I received, I think, 3 years ago now, and it was one of the women who had been involved in the Order of Australia Association, which is basically like an OBE. So it's the highest award that you can get in Australia. It's like the award in England. And I was absolutely blown away with that. And a woman who had also been awarded through that association was a member of JCI and nominated me for the TOYP, or suggested that the JCI group in Melbourne would. And I'd never heard about JCI at that stage. And I thought, what an incredible organisation, with what I saw, that it was a global organisation of young people that were really interested in making a difference. And so I caught up with the local chapter in Melbourne and caught up with a girl called Jess, who was absolutely beautiful. And she was asking me a few questions about Seven Women and what the work that I'd been doing. And then later on, such a surprise that I'd been awarded, because there were some incredible other people that had also been nominated to fly to Estonia and participate in the JCI Global Conference, which was absolutely, when I was on the plane over there, I remember speaking to the Susie, who was the local JCI member here, and just saying, I've got no idea what to expect. So I thought it was going to be an awards ceremony and then, hop on the plane and come back to Melbourne. But when I was there, it was just like, oh my God, like gatherings every night and all of these incredible people from all over the world that I met. And that was just unbelievably valuable. And, I'm sure everyone watching this, feels this, because you've probably been involved a lot longer than me, but just feeling like the world's a small place and that you have friends all over the world. I've stayed in touch with so many people that I met during that conference.
That is true, and that is so amazing. And talking about friends all around the world, you're from Australia, and my daughters and I, there's a show that we love to watch, and it's from Australia. And last time when we were together, and I was like, guess who I am? I am with someone from Australia, and she was like all excited. And it's just the feeling of being connected from all around the world. That is amazing. But you are you do so many things, and I would like to know more about Seven Women. So you're the founder of Seven Women, and you also I also read about hands-on development 7 continents. Tell us more about 7 Women and what is it exactly that you do?
Sure. So when I was, and I see this in a lot of young people and lots of people in general, but especially young people, that burning desire to make a difference. So I had that very much so when I was younger and leaving high school, and I just wanted to get out there and see the world and really experience the world and understand how I could best make a difference in my future, you know, after learning about poverty and that sort of thing at high school. So I signed up for a 3-month trip to Nepal through an organisation called the Duke of Edinburgh. And it was really my first experience of seeing poverty that was so in your face in society, on the streets, very kind of confronting as someone who, you know, grew up in Australia. And I just remember that feeling paired with the incredibly inspiring generosity, that spirit of generosity that the people had in Nepal. And I was totally moved and inspired by this experience. And I was asked to then come back as a co-leader for groups of architects from Australia to Nepal who had kind of designed different schools and kindergartens to help the locals build in their remote villages. And so I went back to Nepal on that trip, and it was very interesting because we didn't really have translators to help us kind of communicate with the locals. So that really sparked my curiosity about, you know, how do foreign people that want to make a difference in a country create real and lasting change with the people. So I went back to Kathmandu, the main city, and I visited lots of different NGOs and charities. Anyone that would have me, I would visit them, to what really just a burning desire to understand how do people become empowered and how does that change be created. And saw very quickly that the ones that were building capacity and skills were having incredible impacts and long term, and the ones that were just giving stuff, you know, for free were kind of creating that dependency. So it was on one of the last days in Nepal that I came across, I was walking down the tiny back streets in Nepal. The group had gone back to Melbourne and I stayed on for a couple of weeks, and I saw this very physically disabled woman who was walking in front of me down this tiny dusty laneway, and she kind of turned into this tiny tin shed, and I poked my head around being very curious, and there were 6 other women with physical disabilities who were basically operating and living out of this tiny, freezing, dirty tin shed. And it was, I mean, that's how 7 Women started. There was one of these women who spoke broken English. Her name was Sangeeta. And I said, you know, hi, you know, what are you guys doing in here? And Sangeeta, they were making these candles for the local market out of this ancient looking stainless steel candle maker, and pouring the hot wax, you know, in that was on the fire in the big pan. And Sangeeta said, we're making candles to sell in the local market because of the electricity cuts in Nepal and everyone needed to buy candles. But she said, because we're all physically disabled, no one will buy them from us, because there's a belief in Nepal that if you're disabled in this life, you were evil in a past life. And so that's really, I mean, that fact alone, the fact that these beautiful, incredible women who were wanting to make a go at their lives were limited by the beliefs that society held, was just like, oh my God, I want to, you know, how do I help in this situation? So that's kind of how 7 Women started. I went to the nearest internet cafe and I called Mum, who was back in Australia, and I said, Mum, I'm, you know, obviously coming home in a few days. I've got $200 left. Do you think I can make a difference with that $200? And Mum said, you know, go for it. You'll be able to make some sort of a difference. So that encouragement gave me the courage to kind of go back there and say, let's do something. And we paid for 2 trainers that came to train the women in skills of making, you know, local products out of knitted wool and things like that. And that started our manufacturing business, which years later has employed hundreds of women, and we've been able to wholesale the products to all over the world, mainly Australia and Europe. So that's kind of what Seven Women is today, and that's how it started. And it's a manufacturing business, a cooking school, and a guest house, and that generates income to do outreach and scholarships and things in the villages.
This is just I'm very moved by your story, because you saw a need, and you did not hesitate to reach out, to help. And there's something that you said: the best way to help is to empower women through trade nor aid. And over the last decade, you have been helping over 5,000 disabled and marginalized women in Nepal. This is amazing, really amazing. And so, what is it about the number seven? Because I hear seven women, seven continents. Is there something particular? Seven is my favorite number. I was born on a seven. So is there something particular with seven?
Well, you probably know more about seven than me, but seven is a magical number. It's a God number, apparently, and it's like wherever I see the number seven, and in multiple forms as well, there's a lot of magic there and a lot of energy.
I believe that too. I believe that too. Amazing. You also have a podcast connecting other humanists, or people who are also making the difference in the world, right? Tell me more about it.
So their podcast is called Inspiring Humans, and we've had people from all over the world sharing what they're doing. And I really wanted to be able to interview people that are living inspired lives and in the process inspiring others, because, when I started Seven Women and when I was young, I wanted to be able to make a difference and, improve the world. And I was focused kind of on helping the women and helping others and making a difference in that way. But and that's fantastic. But I've also realized that actually it starts with us individually living our passion, because when and I was doing that through Seven Women, because I was so excited about what we were able to create with those women and what the women have been able to create, that ripple effect of helping others. So I believe that, when people follow their passion and purpose, that is their life path. The path becomes visible step by step, but it needs to, that first step is probably the most important, to follow that curiosity and follow those inspired ideas. So I wanted to be able to interview people that have taken that path, the path less traveled, and capture their fantastic energy. Because I think when someone is living on purpose, and I think we all have different paths, that the energy that comes from you is transformative for others and can inspire others.
That is so true. And most of the time, when you do something that you are passionate about, it's done so naturally. And I read somewhere that if you really want to change the world, start by finding what is your passion, what is your purpose, and go for it. And definitely, we need the inspiration, we need the positive energy to in order to inspire others. And you are one of the people among in this world making the difference. And I'm so happy to speak with you today. So why is it so important to you? We're talking about empowerment, also advancing gender equality. Why is it so important to you to empower women?
So I think personally, I just came across those women in the tin shed that day and thought, the injustice launched me into action. So I, at that stage, didn't really, have a passion particularly for empowering women in Nepal, but it's just that life situation that brought me there. And so I actually, I do believe empowerment of women is super important because of some of the imbalances, but more than that. And, we hear every International Women's Day, different people sharing, the message of empowering women. But actually, I think it's about drawing out everybody's human potential, whether they're men all women, men drawing out women's potential, women drawing out men's potential. And if we were all fulfilling our function as humans and living our passion and being good humans to each other, then, gender inequality wouldn't be in existence anyway. So, and I love what you just mentioned before about when you are living your passion, it's effortless, because, I feel like sometimes in life you can be trying to do something because of, society thinks it's good, or, all this conditioning, and it doesn't really resonate, or it's not in alignment with who you are or what you're lit up by. And I think that can waste a lot of energy, and it can dull someone's energy down. Whereas if you align with that life force and the pattern for your life, it does become effortless. It's like you're riding, with the flow, and you
Yes,
get into that state of flow.
that is true. And how do you yourself keep your own motivation? What keeps you going? Because life, has its ups and downs. There are so many challenges, and right now we are in the middle of this pandemic. How do you keep yourself motivated?
Well, I think for me, it's being around good people. I think people are the thing that lights me up in the world. So in Estonia, for example, we were allowed to bring a friend along to the award ceremony. And I asked a friend in Scotland, do you want to come? And she'd never experienced anything like it either. And I remember her saying to me, I do not know how you've been up till 4 or 5 a.m. every morning and you're so full of energy. And I was like, every night there's like a big party at another bar and you get to meet all these people.
Yes.
And I was like, I seriously wasn't tired at all. And I was so lit up by couldn't go on for like forever like that. But I came back to Australia and I was like exhausted for about a week. but I know that's what gives me energy in life, being around good people, being inspired. And so, the more, because I know that, I make sure that I am surrounded by good people. And even, the challenging times when I started 7 Women, and because it was super challenging working in an environment like Nepal, it's so different language, so many things that I didn't foresee when I started the charity. But I think I would kind of put it down to, faith and asking. I think when your goal is greater than yourself and you ask for help, whether it's through prayer or just put it out there, and see it done, that it resolves itself, then it actually happens. And there's been so many miracles that have happened like that, when you kind of ask for help, because I believe the goal, is greater than oneself. It was for the greater good.
Definitely.
So that's kind of, those mini miracles and the magic of life kind of boosted me to get through that challenge.
Wow, this is beautiful, and I can only join you in that, because I really believe that we are all, everything is connected, and our purpose is not to live just for ourselves, but it's really to share whatever we have with humanity, with someone else who needs it, and just to complete each other, because that's what life is about. I mean, it's that's where lies the beauty of it. So yeah, wow. And you are also an author, a producer. You do so many things. Where do you find that time?
So, well, I wrote my book after we were awarded at the Responsible Business Award at the United Nations in 2016. So this is another thing. I never ever saw awards being part of 7 at the beginning. It was just about providing the basic needs for these 7 women. I didn't even know if it would grow into anything. I just wanted to help these 7 women. And I think life has just taken me on the most epic journey through that. And I see, I see awards as incredible gifts to, for a bigger platform to share the positive message with more people. So after I went to the UN, took my mum, and she absolutely loved it. I got to bring somebody, and that award happened. I was super inspired by the that experience, and I got home and I thought, I want to write a book and kind of document the journey and all the challenges, not just the positive parts, for others that might want to launch into a passion but just not sure how to take the first step. So that's what motivated me to kind of write the book, and it's called From a Tin Shed to the United Nations: How Every One of Us Can Make a Difference. So that's been quite amazing, because I've taken those books around with me around to the different conferences that I've spoken at around the world, and we've sold over 7,000, the number 7 again, of those books, which is quite incredible. So again, like I'm not saying this to kind of boast, but I think you get extra support when you're on the right track and when you're living your passion, because I never imagined being able to write a book, be awarded at the UN, or sell over 7,000 books. And I just think that's kind of quite extraordinary. And then the producer of the documentary, we had a girl come to Nepal with us on one of our tours. So I had a tour company where I was taking high school students and university students and fundraising trips over to Nepal. And we were actually going to do a JCI one before this, the travel stopped. So, and so a girl came over and wanted to make a documentary of the travel. So that's where the producer title comes in. I helped her kind of, in a small way, create that documentary. And now we've got a fantastic, resource to share with others of the work in Nepal.
Oh, amazing. So you are still active with JCI since TOYP. What I would say is your memorable or most wide souvenir? Probably the TOYP, I imagine. And what is the message that you will convey to the younger generation, the younger women?
So my best memories are absolutely the people that I met when I was in Estonia. It was unbelievable, and I could name about 20 of them. They were so I'm still in touch with them now, and that's the greatest gift ever, to have friends like that. And then last year, fantastic memories of being president of the Melbourne board, especially during what's happened in the last 12 months. And we had, I think there were 7 of us just who had never met before, who came together to create this new club, or reinvent a club that was already there. And I was still getting to know JCI actually, but we had a vision to create a summit for 3 days of people from 7 different countries, again, the number 7, and that could share their experience in leadership in JCI, all different levels of leadership. So we had, incredible people from Iran, Syria, Monte Carlo, Indonesia. I had a friend who just joined JCI, so people at different levels and experiences of leadership through JCI. And we had President Itai, which was incredible.
Wow.
Who spoke too. So that was a fantastic memory, to bring all those people together and to showcase, the different experiences through JCI across the continents.
Amazing. This is awesome. I'm just so filled with all that you are sharing. I would like to remind everyone that I am here with Stephanie Woollard, OAM, honoree from the Outstanding Women, or the Outstanding Global Women Award, introduced by JCI Canada on March 8th to recognize the outstanding work of amazing women within the organization and the community work that they do extraordinarily. And really, Stephanie, it was such a pleasure to welcome you today. Again, congratulations. Thank you for all that you do, all that you are. The humanity is so much beautiful with you in it.
Thank you so much. And just a special thank you to Crispin as well, who was one of those people that I met in Estonia who made such a difference to my experience. I met him, I think, on the first or second day, and it just made me really understand what the organisation was about, and, full of people like him who were just so welcoming, so amazing friends to have. So thank you, for being that person that set the experience up in Estonia to be incredible.
Welcome. Thank you, Stephanie.
Thanks.